Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversations. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
Hello, hello, hello. I have a question for you. Have you ever felt completely lost? You know, seeking purposeful direction that could and should propel your mission within your divine journey to that next level, but still it hasn't happened. Well, my name is Lauren Michaels Harris, and I'm the founder of P3, the Journey Series. People come to me because they're wounded, many are scared, and even there are those who are bruised simply because they feel that they are increasingly, for whatever reason, losing their ability to dream. Now, this P3 program is not for a person who's just looking to start a business, no, but rather for those of you out there who have been on your journey and you've been navigating within your divine purpose, but you still desire to elevate to that level that you have not reached yet. If this is appealing, if this describes you, then I want to have a chat with you. I want to hear your story. So use the link below to get registered for your free seat at P3, the Journey Series. And let's get started, one story at a time. I'll see you inside. Click the link.
don't see what's yours for the taking tonight.
Wait for it. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. It's Monday. I'm excited. Welcome to today's installment, everybody, of Bathrobe Moments. I'm Dr. Lauren. I'm back. I am back. Ooh. What a weekend I had, we had, they had, we all had in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I finally got it right. All weekend I kept saying, hello, Charleston. They were like, if you confuse us with Charleston one more time. Anyway, had a wonderful weekend in Charlotte with wonderful people. The weather was great. It was supposed to rain. It did, but it didn't hit me because I was taking a nap during the rainstorm. But it was wonderful. Absolutely. Thank you, Mecklenburg County Department of Social Services. Several hundred people that work within the Department of Social Services, of course, primarily social workers, but also a room full of wonderful foster parents, which was just, that event was the one I've been waiting for 10 years since I've been doing this work. Seriously, so many firsts. I had some coaching clients. I have a lot of coaching clients in that area. They just came in droves, right? And so I met a bunch of people that I've been working with, but I've never seen in person. It was mother number 2, Ada. You know, there were 23 now because my mother-in-law just passed away. So I now say I had 23 mothers. But Ada, number 2, her 105th birthday would have been Friday on the 25th when I was in front of. This is the first time in 10 years, 300 and some speaking gigs, you guys. The first time I've been hired by social workers, right? Where this, I thought that was all I was going to be doing 10 years ago. That tells you something, right? So anyway, it was her birthday, and the auditorium in the pavilion I was at, it was on a campus, was the Harris Pavilion. That's my mother's last name, my last name. So both of them had right? You see, tracking it? Okay, so it was a wonderful, wonderful time, and I learned a lot, and hopefully I shared a lot. Let me move on past it because I'm going there already. So ordinarily at this point, I'd pop a bunch of pictures up, but because I have a speakers bureau now, and I have a public relations firm now, and they were there, and it was kind of cool, but I'm used to just yakking it up with people, and they kept whisking me away. We're going to need to borrow him now. That felt kind of cool. Our guest today probably knows all about that kind of stuff when you have an entourage and people, because he's like big time. Y'all remember, I know we were talking about it Friday. So everybody's like, yeah, I looked him up. You're right. Yeah. And I told you, Joseph Michelli. He said, that name, doesn't it sound like a high-end car? Have you seen that new Michelli? Ooh, God, the body on that thing. Well, he's probably heard that too. Back in the day, at least. So anyway, metabolic balance. I want to just say the reason I'm bringing this back in today is because, I've lost 35 pounds and I tore it up over the weekend. I treated, never cheated. But I'm back on it today. That's why you have a program, so that when you go off-roading, you can get back on the road. And I'm back on it today. Here's my breakfast. Okay. Dr. Jane, my coach in this, also a New York Times bestselling and USA Today bestselling author, just like our guest today, will be joining myself and also one of my coaching clients, Dr. Michelle Arhana. We will be, y'all know, he's probably, is he here? He's usually here. Oh, he's doing a show somewhere else right now. That's right. Charles Maddox, Charles Maddox, Bob Marley's nephew, Emmy Award-winning director. We are all going to meet him at his studio in Costa Rica to film a menopause docuseries. No, I don't have menopause, but I am going to be working with some women on mindset and how to, because that can last 30 years. Did you know that? So anyway, we're going to give you more information on that. And now, because of the new syndication and all these big wig people, let's whisk him away. Things are a little bit different, but here, I just got to get this in because I want 400 of you. That's what they were waiting on. Come on in. It is 10 minutes after, time to get our guest in. But real quick,
here's the rundown. If you are in the area near any of the places I'm about to spew out of this mouth, I'd love to meet you. I'd love to have some coffee or just wave across something, the highway, the chasm, the whatever, and just say, how you doing? Costa Rica. See you there, June 4th through the 6th, if you are in the coast, San Jose, to be specific. Then Jackson Hole, Wyoming, going back for the second year, marching in that parade, the 4th of July parade, which is my birthday. I'm going to be there with the Trueness Project and the, I always want to say Ripley's, believe it or not. What is wrong with me? It is not Ripley's, the world record people. Guinness, not to be confused with the beer. The Guinness World Record people will be in Jackson Hole with them again, the 28th of June through the 3rd of June. No, through the 5th of July. And then, okay, because June 4th is in Costa Rica. And then Charlotte, so far, Charlotte, North Carolina, back there again for the Unbound event. September 12th through the 14th, where I'll be emceeing. Now, in between there, you'll be able to catch Dr. Sanjeev Chopra and I. We will be going on tour starting in June, all through the United States, corporate. And so if you're in the corporate arena, we might be brought in by one of your companies. And it is our Happiness Joy tour with Dr. Sanjeev Chopra. You guys know him. He's the head of the liver department at Harvard University, and he's the only brother of Deepak Chopra. There we go. So there are all of the announcements except for the biggest one and the bestest. I just love having a public school education. The bestest of them all. Look at this. All business is personal. And look who's the name is on there. Yes. Who, if I had more time, I'd guess the middle name. I think I know what it is. Joseph Andrew. He's not giving away anything. No. He moved his mustache and it's not no. Alan. Anyway, we'll get him in here. Joseph Michelli is here with his new book. It's on the screen. All Business is Personal. Now, you may remember from times gone by, this guy, my goodness, Customer Magic, I can't even say that word. What is, okay. That's it. That's my cue to get him in here because he needs to pronounce that. I told you, public school. You guys put some hearts on the screen. He's on the way down the hall. Joseph Michelli, author of all. You want to know who's got great customer service and how to adapt what they did into what you're doing or anything in between? He's your guy. Here he comes. Put some hearts on the screen. I'm leaving the book up there.
I have my giant version but beside me over here. So
you do
it any way you want to do.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Wait, I always go the wrong way. But I like this. I know this is what it must have felt like. See, didn't you always want to do that when you watched the Brady's? Looking up and looking over.
Which box am I in?
See. Yes. Yeah. How have you been?
I've been better than I should be, but my goodness, I'm not as good as you. I normally know how to start an interview, but with you, it's like a train coming at you 100 miles an hour, and you're trying to figure out what do I grab onto?
Just be
amazing. You know what I love is that I can say I knew you when because you were like this rock star climbing, and now I can't even believe you're still talking to me. So I'm pretty honored.
You know, you were like one of my first. What I considered, my husband was talking about it at breakfast this morning because he drinks his shake while I make my coffee. Hey! Oh, my coffee is still where I left it. So guess who gets to say hi? I do this anyway. I'm not picking on you.
It's okay.
You're going to get a minute to say anything you want. It's like a reverse Jerry Springer moment. We do it at the beginning, right? So I'm going to dip out and let you say hello while I grab my coffee. Heads are going to roll when I get up there. Just kidding. There's no one up there. But it sure seemed like I had a team for a minute, didn't it? But I'm going to go grab my coffee, say hello to everybody, tell them where you're at in the world. And then can you kind of go down? What is that word? I wanted to say marquee, but it's not.
Yeah, I'll take care of that for you.
Will you go down?
You get your coffee because frankly, I don't know that I can handle you with your coffee. You go do your thing,
and I'll be right back.
We'll see what comes back here.
And that's not a threat. It's a promise. Hold on. Take it away.
I am Joseph. Yes, I am Joseph. And man, what an act to follow there. And I have been doing this work in the customer service space for a long time. He wants me to, Dr. Lauren wants me to mention the name, I guess, of that book. It was Customer Magic, the McGraw-Hill Way. They're actually a company out of Australia, so there's no need to know how to say McGraw-Hill. In any regard, I have been blessed with parents who told me since I was a little boy that I'm not put on this earth to be served, but to serve others. And I think that got me in a trajectory that has enabled me to focus on what does it take to serve people well, whether that's in your personal life, whether that's in your business life. And so that's been the journey I'm on. I ended up going and getting a Ph.D. in clinical psychology. So I'm Ph.D., which stands for piled higher and deeper. I certainly have spent plenty of time academically studying that stuff. But beyond the academic side of how do we connect with one another and create value in the lives of the people around us, I've also gotten the opportunity to do that in many great businesses, including those who make coffee, like Starbucks. So I've done a couple books about Starbucks, done books about Ritz-Carlton, Mercedes-Benz, Zappos, the shoe people, all online retail now. And yeah, many, many others, Airbnb, and this book about a company that Amazon bought for $4 billion. So there you go.
Is that all?
See, I vamped as much as I could there.
You did a great job.
Thank you.
I was back. I was just enthralled in what you were saying. And
you were just hiding there, just sipping your coffee and having your breakfast.
Yeah. And where are you in the world? Where do you live?
I'm lost in the world, so I need you to help me find it because that's your thing, right? But I'm actually in Tampa, Florida, in the Tampa, St. Petersburg, Florida area.
I just always assumed you were on the East Coast, like a New Yorker, but like you lived like you drove. I always pictured you, honestly, driving like the people who do Good Morning America and stuff in the back of a limo, riding, going through your notes early in the morning from where you live out in the nice area, and then you come into the city to be on TV. You've done that.
Can you just script my life for me? I'll take that one. I'll take it. I like mine now, though. I don't really need that right now. But
how long you been in Florida?
Been here about 11 years. I moved here with my wife, who wanted to be near her family, aging family. And then sure enough, 6 months after we got here, her breast cancer had metastasized and she was in the hospital. And 6 weeks, not 6 months, 6 weeks after we arrived. She was in the intensive care for a bunch of weeks there. And some 6 months later, we were in some deep throes, and shortly thereafter she died. So I know, what a bummer. Hey, and good morning to you too. But the story goes on. I mean, love comes again, and I'm blessed to be married to Patty, who we very much enjoy living here in Florida. So
okay, so you see, your wife's journey got you there. So she was taking care of you before you knew she was taking care of you. And you see what I'm saying?
Hallelujah. Yeah. Amen. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So let's go to this. I know I've asked you tons of questions over the years, and this guy, do you guys remember when we were in Florida and we did that little thing? And we were trying to get you in, and you were stopping when you were going on a flight, and you were going to pop in and do our last minute thing, because you all remember that time we all pulled out of an event because it was out of alignment with integrity, but we'd already paid for our tickets. So we're like, well, let's just go and help wherever we can. And 2 guys flew into that thing we put together in 36 hours, all the way from Peru. And came and joined us at our Airbnb for that. Yes, and I hate that they did not get to meet you, but here you are. And what was the very first book you wrote?
Oh my goodness! Yeah, it was. First, my very, very, very first was a book about parenting. It's called Humor, Play, and Laughter: How to Stress-Proof Life with Your Kids, which is a total lie of a tagline. Like you could stress-proof life with your kids. But the beauty of that book was an effort to say, let's capture the natural occurring humor of reality, right? Let's activate our amuse systems so that we can find the amusement. And let's teach our kids not to just get so down on themselves when things don't go right, but find the fluidity and the flexibility. I think Lily Tomlin said, sometimes I cry and sometimes I laugh till I cry. And I think the goal is to try to get 2 emotions for the price of 1 and find the laughter. Or Steve Allen maybe did it even better. He said, humor is pain plus time. So back in that book, we were really just trying to say, give yourself some distance and space on the thing that right now is going to make you miserable, so that you can think about how this is going to play later and how you might find an amusing story out of it. Try to pull that humor in now when you need it in the throes of the crisis. So yeah, that was what that book was about, trying to help raise kids who had a sense of humor and use their humor skills to cope with life. But then the real first business book was about a fish market, which was very playful in its own right. The Pike Place Fish Market in Seattle, where they throw fish. And so I'd worked with that company.
Yeah, the guys catch them and
yeah. So I worked with that company and the owner and wrote a book about what made them magical. And so it's from there that I got to Starbucks just down the street a piece, because that Pike Place Fish Market is a block and a half away from the first Starbucks store. So I got to work with Howard Schultz and the team at Starbucks, and it just went on from there. That's the way it is, isn't it, Lauren? You know, you walk through one door and then all kinds of other doors open. So
thank you for that. I was just talking to someone yesterday about that very thing, about how God provides windows and doors of opportunity. You don't ever hear walls of opportunity. You hear windows and doors, because you got to peek through. You know, you don't have to go rushing in. You can peek through before you go walking through. And the thing is, here's the thing about doors and windows and doors that I love to share with people. The reason there's a window is because it's not just to go, ooh, like you're window shopping. But a lot of people are afraid of the unknown. But I know this to be true. I wonder I bet you, because what I love about you, you're like a vault of secret, magical everything, because of the people that you have spent up close and personal time with that have been so successful. And it's always about how they care and take care of the people that they serve. And let me show you this. You guys know this out there, but I'm just showing you because I don't know if you know. Back when you were here before, I didn't have these studios yet. I was in my dining room, and I had the Wall of Purpose with 400 and some downloads that were living on Post-it notes. So I say that because you lead with the truth. They were not Post-it notes with ideas on them. They were downloads that were sitting on top of a Post-it note. So anyway, these are the ones in these bags that have manifested. But then the others I keep in this box. You see them?
Yeah.
I have a fishbowl over there with just things that have spoken to my spirit, right? And when I have someone really special coming on like you, I reach in there like this and I pull one out. And guess which one came out today for you?
What came out?
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
This one. Never forget what problem you solve. These are quotes that I've heard from I don't know where. I've never put a person's name. I just put the nugget. So what is that?
I love the capturing of it, putting it in a space, and then letting it show up in your life when you need it by this seemingly random act of going into greatness.
Right? Wait. You're going to love this even more. Replace random. Guess what I call that process?
It's more than
You're going to love this, Joseph.
Go ahead.
You might want one day. I hope I'm at the level where you can interview me, because here it is. That serves literally as spiritual flypaper.
Oh, that stickiness. I got
See what I mean?
Yeah.
So what does that mean to you? Never forget what problem you solve.
Yeah, and I like the cool part of the spiritual flypaper because it's kind of like drawing you into that spiritual awakening moment by need, right? Like, that's very cool. I like that. Thank you. I strike the word random and replace it with the word spiritual flypaper phrase. I also love the whole part of the windows doors thing you were going at, because I do think, we build our own walls. We build them sometimes in self-protection. Sometimes we think that isolating ourselves is a better, safer way to go, and it really is needing to look into ourselves with the windows into ourselves and trust that we can navigate this thing called life, and also reach out to that whatever is out in the universe that might guide us, right? For me, it has been these amazing leaders who are committed to making the lives of other people better. I constantly, my focus, my mantra is that we serve those who serve well, right? That's what I do. I don't have enough time to serve people who aren't committed to serving others. Like, I don't have that time. I wish I did, then I could serve everyone, but I have to triage. So I really spend a lot of time trying to look for those people in the universe, kind of the helpers as Mr. Rogers might say, right? I'm looking for those helpers to learn from them so that I can pass whatever I learn on through whatever skills God gave me to write or speak. And so that's my job, is to spot what's going right in the world and magnify it. So hopefully some folks will see it or hear it differently in the moment when they reach into their jar, right?
Yes. Now the customer service books, because this is the thing. When I was doing their initial research, I was like, I remember that Saboteur tried to like broadcast it. You're never gonna get him. He's way beyond your reach. And my heart was actually palpitating because I was loving so much what I read, the stories that you told and tell in your books, because you're either sitting with the founder, the visionary founder, or the current CEO. The founders have passed on or retired or whatever the case may be. But the way, I'll never forget how it was like, it was so encouraging to me, Joseph, because it was on the front end of this career for me, that I felt alone. I felt like my model for what I wanted to do was not what I was seeing out there in this woo-woo world of influence. It seemed like a lot of people had masks, and out front to the world, give me your 120K and I'll make you the best version of yourself.
Yeah, I think you were real, and that was probably an anomaly, because we have a lot of plastique out there that people do get attracted to, really shiny things that when you look a little closer, you realize it's just a prism, and you're not seeing really anything there that's deep. But yeah, I think for me, when you talk about the founders and the like, frequently what happens is I'll be in rooms with people who I characterize as loving on others. And by loving, I'm using a definition that's actually very academic, by the way.
Okay.
It comes from Peter Senge. He has written, he's a MIT professor, and he writes that love is, particularly in the context of business, is caring about the growth and development of others. So I see people loving on people all the time in business. People don't like to talk about love. What's love got to do with it? There should be like a song like that, don't you think, Lauren? Got to kind of catch your ring.
Tina?
So, love has a place in business. It has a place in helping people grow. The people who are going to help your business grow, you want them to grow and develop, and you want them to grow and develop the customers who come to your business and understand what they want, need, and desire, so you can anticipate their needs and have them be a part of your journey for a long time. So long and short of it, all the people I work with, founders or CEOs, they really do have a genuine interest in growing people around them. And then I get to tell the story of that vision, but I then also get to move that story, if you will, into how does that manifest in managers' lives? How do they try to help the people that are direct reports to them learn and grow? And then how do their front line actually try to translate it? So, in a Starbucks sense, we might talk about, in the early days, Howard Schultz really wanting to have this brand become this third place, this nurturing part of a community where people would come for an affordable luxury experience. They'd be able to sit down, hear, ambient music that was beautiful. They would be able to feel a chair that was pretty comfortable. In the early days, we wanted to envelop them in this third place experience, where when it was too formal to come to work to meet and it was too informal to bring somebody to your house, this would be your third place, the place in between those two. And so that was a loving vision, right? And then you could see it, how it got translated all the way down the chain. And then you'd have these moments where baristas would, find out that, they would know their customers well. And maybe a spouse died for a senior citizen, and they would come and sit at the table with them and share the same meal that they would have had with their spouse, the muffin, and split it in half, and, just be there with them. And so when you hear the stories at the front line of these magnificent people, and you understand the kind of visionary third place experience, it's just a lovely conversation. It's really what I try to do in the books, is to say, what is it that we want people to feel every single time? No excuses. At a leadership level, how do we make that happen for our managers? How do we help those managers happen for the front line? And how does our front line carry it forward so that we're really having those concentric circles of impact?
Concentric circles. Now, see, this is what I love. I love about you. He's brilliant. And no, you really, I'm going to tell you what can I share with you what your divine gift did for me back when I wasn't the person you see today. back when you started dealing with me. And I'm serious. I can never find the words to thank you enough for what you really did, but I'm going to try my best to tell you right here and now. It was because of your work. Here's how it happened. You might have thought I was distracted and rude just now. You saw me doing something. I did it to show you what I was shown. When I started looking into you and reading excerpts from your books to get a feel, because you sent me stuff after I requested it, and you were right. I was like, oh, wow, here's what I was shown. Because sometimes if we don't think we're where we need to be to understand what we're seeking, we're wrong. That's why we're told to come as we are. What is greater than us will meet us where we're at. You just have to seek, and you will find. It didn't say maybe or when you're ready or when the time is decided, you will find. It says you will, period. So here's how I found what I needed, and it started what has been almost a 10-year relationship between us, was when I started hearing you relate these stories. I was like, could this be? Is it possible that what I am thinking what I am thinking is the model for what I'm wanting to do is so right that it ties in directly with these people who are doing things I would have never thought I had anything in common with. And here's how it was shown to me. The words might not have, okay, Google, what's this word mean? Because I have a rule on the show. Don't use a word with more than 6 syllables. You'll get put out. I'm just kidding. But I'm getting past that even. I'll just write it down and look it up later, right? But it felt like this. This is what I saw. And this is what I see every time I read one of your books. When you're interviewing, the way you ask these questions about what is important, how have you driven this success? How have you made everybody in the ecosystem feel the same thing? When we hear trickle down effect, it's usually negative. Shit rolls downhill. But when I read your books, here's how I see it. I see a stack of pancakes, but the person who is in charge in the ivory tower is not the big pancake.
No,
he or she is the smallest. Yeah. Because then when the syrup is poured on the small, I see it like this. Each pancake gets bigger as it goes. The base.
What a cool drawing. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah, so the people on the front lines are the big pancake on the bottom, because you know what? Who wants a pancake without some syrup?
Amen.
Something? So you pour it trickles down, it rolls smoothly. Remember those old, I love you, Mrs. Butterworth, and it'd be going all over. You'd be like,
ooey gooey stuff. Yeah.
I want you to talk about that. And I bet I got a question you've never been at. Oh, you might have.
I doubt it. I doubt you definitely come from a different place on most of the questions. I can tell you. You almost cry from just the joy of this. This is beautiful. Hey, so let me tell you, I think from the beginning, watching your trajectory, because I think it's much more interesting to talk about you than any of the other people right now. Oh. Truly, Dr. Lauren, you have always had a transformational spirit, and you've always had the wisdom and brilliance to make that come to life. I think that the difference was it was so unique that in some ways it was going to be once found and appreciated and valued, it was going to have its own lane, which was going to just take off, and it has. But I do think there is a lot of resistance. For me, growth of all forms comes with great resistance. There's a period right before it happens where there's just lots of resistance. So think about like a seed in the ground, right? It has to break through the crust of the earth to fully grow and sprout, right? Or if we're going to do weight training, we have to do the weight resistance in order for the muscles to build. And to me, you were fighting some of the resistance of the status quo of things and or the differentness of you. And what I love is that you've just leaned into it with ferocity, and the world comes to that beautiful truth. So I'm super excited about that. And I think that the more people spend time trying to figure out what that is, what their essential power is, and work through the resistance, knowing it's going to be there, knowing that, I don't remember what your term was earlier, kind of that voice in your head that is a skeptic, but
the saboteur, the
saboteur. Yeah. I mean, the more you fight off that stuff, the more you change those conversations, challenge them, because it's really just a conversation in your head. It's not reality.
Exactly.
The more you
And it's a
challenge that
temporary
conversation,
reality at that.
exactly. And the more you focus on the impact of your life and the less on the navel gazing of your inadequacies, then I think that's where we live, right? Like, so for me, watching you really go into your impact has been great. The leaders that I work with are always the ones that are succeeding that I'm willing to tell stories about. Goodness knows I have many clients, not all of whom become books, but they really have that impact. So let's just talk about this book for 1 second. So
Okay.
Tom Lee was a physician trained at Harvard. He then went on to Stanford started Stanford Business School to get his MBA. You could tell the guys had academically challenged, right? Harvard and then Stanford Business School.
Right.
And so from there, he was one of the first guys to create an app for back in the BlackBerry days, so physicians could actually look at drug interactions. We used to have this big book called the Physician's Desk Reference that people relied on exclusively for that, but it could be updated in real time on the BlackBerry. He developed that tool as part of his master's in business at Stanford. Was really happy about trying to move forward healthcare, but felt like he wanted to go beyond an app. He wanted to really make it happen in the service space. So he started just analyzing what's wrong with healthcare. And he asked the most powerful question we could ever ask, which is why. And we don't ask why enough. We often just accept the status quo. We don't do we try to maybe improve on what is, but we don't really redesign it. We don't have the boldness to say, if I could start from scratch, how would I design this thing? Instead of how do I make a terrible, leaking ship somewhat better and somewhat more afloat? So with that why, he would ask questions like, why do I, when I'm trying to schedule a primary care appointment, why do I have to call somebody? Why couldn't I just do that on an app? Why is it that I have to sit in the waiting room and then also sit in the exam room? Why do I have to double wait? Why can't I just, why do I have to wait at all? Like, can't we create a system where there's buffers and people can be treated with dignity and when they arrive, be respected by their time? And so he went through this process, redesigned at a very small level in San Francisco, used a lot of technologists from the Silicon Valley, develop an app to interface with the human side, made it easier for people to schedule those appointments, made it easier for providers to capture the notes from those appointments, so they weren't doing it in their pajamas. And because they were improving the life of those folks, again, back to your point, creating value for everybody in your ecosystem by helping them have a better life, he was able to attract better providers, right? So all that, and then it got to a point where I have these buddies, Gilmore and Pine, who wrote a book called the Experience Economy, and they said, do something so well that people will pay admission to see it, right? And so in this case, people were willing to pay admission to get use of the app, to get more same-day, next-day appointments, to get 97% of all appointments on time within 3 minutes, right? And not have to wait in the exam room. The primary care provider would come out to the waiting room and grab you. They'd be in street clothes without like professional attire, but not pretentious white coats. And they bring you back and have a conversation on the way back. And suffice it to say, he created that experience. People wanted it so much that he said, well, I need to charge a membership fee for this. It's not like it's going to cover your healthcare costs. That's still going to be insurance, but let me charge a fee just because I need to maintain the app and I want to narrow the number of people right now so I can actually serve them well. And so this was a time before e-commerce, and he just sent out notes to people and said, it's going to be $39 next month. And some people sent in checks, some people didn't, and he went on anyway, right? Like,
That's
and then
right.
now, $4 billion purchase by Amazon. It's a $99 add-on to your Prime membership. I'm not pitching it. Like, that's not my job here. I'm not here to sell you to get one medical, and I'm not selling Amazon in this thing. I'm just talking about Tom Lee's vision and how it grew $4 billion worth of purchase power.
And you know what?
Decade.
Exactly. And I just want to jump in right there because I'm not surprised. Because had I not heard even I knew how the story turned out because I did the research. However, if I hadn't, I would have still expected what the outcome was. Why? Because it was clear from the gate, from the onset, that Tom led with value.
Oh, God, yes.
See, when we lead with value, I find in my brand, people think I'm stupid because two assumptions. They either think you're stupid or they think you're rich. Because how else could he give away so much?
Yeah.
And I feel like this, it used to be called a loss leader in my world. That's how I originally heard about it in the 80s and stuff, in the 90s when I was entering the world of business. It's considered a loss leader. Just chalk it up to the game. Don't hate the player, hate the game. They had all these different things. But really, that too is a discredit, a disservice to what the intention is. Value, I found I need any way I can to give people an experience to who I am, what they can expect with me. In other words, here. Okay, I'll take a whole cup of that. Why would I expect people to order, a lifetime supply of something from me when they haven't been able to dip their finger in and see if they even like the taste of it?
Yeah.
And so value, here's the thing, and I'm going to toss it back over. To me, value is the calorie count, the nutritional calorie count of your work. A lot of people, empty promises, have 0 calories. You see what I mean? You get nothing. So you got to turn around, check the labels.
Yeah, and the nutritional value is not necessarily in keeping with what tastes good, right?
Exactly.
You got to find where the value lives, and
exactly.
And I think that's about curating our lives. I mean, what we consume in social media, sometimes that has zero nutritional value to us mentally or emotionally, and instead we just keep, exactly. And so I think we are stewards of the value we consume. And really the integrity of the value we consume. We are also stewards of creating value. And I think this whole loss leader thing is such a silly conversation. I mean, if you truly believe, and I think there's empirical evidence for it besides the metaphysical, belief in it, that there is reciprocity in the world. There is a fundamental law of reciprocity. It is not one-to-one. Not every act do I get a something of equal or opposite value. This is not, this is not Newtonian physics in some sort, right? It is a simple truth that the more I give, the more likely I will get that in return. And in my life, I've gotten a factor of 10 in return to everything I've given. But there are times where I've given and people have just taken. And there's a point in your life where you learn how to set appropriate boundaries and say, thank you. I'll invest elsewhere emotionally where there is an even game to be played. I don't want to be on the losing end of this game, nor do I want to be on the winning end. I want to be on a reciprocal relationship with you where we both grow and develop, and I value you, you value me. It works. So to me, that appreciation of that means that I've got to be willing to lead with my heart. I've got to be willing to lead with my loss leader, if you want to call it that, because my fundamental belief is that if I do, and if I do it enough times, there'll be plenty of situations where it comes back, not only equally, but multiply.
More than you could have ever imagined.
Yeah. And that's been my story. And I think most great leaders and great businesses are that. Tom Lee was there to create value for a system. And it was in the doing of that the system has now valued him back. And thus we're all better for it.
And he didn't set that intention.
No.
I'm going to sell this one. What's on my chin there for $1 billion? No. When you remove anything that has to do with the price a little bit, and you say, here, taste that.
Yeah.
Now it is less the price, which makes it, are you ready for this? Price less.
That's
the
ding. Where's my ding?
See, that's
I got a hairbrush.
Do that. Peter Glass, don't break it. But that is the litmus test of purpose. It always has a way for you to check and recheck flow.
Yeah.
If something is going to be meaningful to the world, it must be full of meaning with you. See how that works, right?
Yeah.
Right? So
I have a slight different variation. I just talk about service serves us, right? Like serving others serves back to us. It really is that same kind of concept. Yeah. If you kind of take the price out of it, it becomes price. I love that.
Yes, it becomes priceless because our stories are behind it. When you started out, how you are, who you are, and how you got to where you are today, all those books behind it. You started with where it began. My parents instilled in me early service, being of service.
Yeah.
And
It's
look where it
really,
led.
I'm so grateful for that, because I do think there have been some people who've been told that this earth is here for you. And then they expect that. And sometimes they get it. And if they don't, they sometimes treat people really terribly. And sometimes they get it because they've treated somebody terribly, but it's not like they really feel very good about themselves. And they're always hungry for the next thing they can get, not the next thing they can give. They don't find the joy in what will I discover today hanging out with Dr. Lauren. They're like, will Dr. Lauren push my book enough to sell, X number of copies? No, I don't give a crap. I mean, I have been blessed. I've sold enough books. If I never sell another book again, God bless it. But I would hope that they're all people who, because I took some time in this thing, right? Like I took some time because I believe there's a story that could touch some people's lives. So I hope it'll touch people's lives, but I don't want anybody. If you want to go buy it from, go check it out of a library, I'm great with that, right? Like I don't need anybody to buy anything, but I do need people to continually be in a journey to create value in the lives of others so that they can feel more valuable, right? We are valuable in the same way you just talked about pricelessness. We are valuable by creating value, being able to create value. And when we create value in the lives of others, we feel valuable. And I think there are a lot of people out there who feel isolated, alone, not having much worth or value in the world. And so rather than focusing on that and obsessing about it, let's get out there and create some value, people.
And create some value. And that ING is a big piece. When we are investing in others, we're in the process of something. Yeah. Everything. I encourage people all the time, even when I work with my clients on their keynotes and whatnot, I say, try to find a word that can fit in your marquee title that has an ING in it, so that it is automatically inclusive of the person who is reading. Because when someone, hi, no, sorry, I wish I could. I can't tomorrow. I'm working. Call me back. I'm cooking. Not now. I'm sleeping. In the process. And why does that sound like, what's that mean, Dr. Moore? Well, what are you? Are you a human done, or are you a human being in the process?
Yeah, that was so much of what we were doing in that first book that I talked about, that fish market book. We just talked about, being as an incredibly different concept than doing. Right. I mean, both are ings, if you will, but yes, I can do something and not be it.
Yes,
I can do the hand you the comb, wherever it is. I can do the hand you the brush thing, or I can be a person who's giving something of value to you. Correct. It's a fundamental, attitudinal, holistic, put yourself into it as opposed to transact it. And that is an important distinction, I think, for people. And when you coach people like you do, you're really asking them to get into that essence of who they are, what are they bringing to the table uniquely and powerfully. So yay, I like that.
Yes, very much so. Now, look, I know all these, let's go to the people that you have, and how many books have you penned?
14
yeah. In the customer service. And do you see like the connections between, is there one thing that you find in every one of those success stories?
Yeah, I think all of them realize that success is not based on a short-term stock market number. It is in sustaining meaningful connections, right? Meaningful connections. And it really is with your board. It's with meaningful connections with your team, your leadership team, your customer base, meaningful connections. I talk about the All Business Personal is the title of this book, but we have lots of technology out in the world today that can personalize things. It can, transcribe all of your show notes. It can identify what are the core themes you have. It can look at what people resonate against on phrasing. It can give you all kinds of ways so you could position your next show to just really be using the words that really are, light up your audience, right? Yeah. And that's all good. That's personalization, meaning you use technology and automation to help you identify preferences. But being personal is a whole different thing. Like the reason you're successful is because I'm sure you personalize your messaging to your audience. You understand what they want, need, and desire, and you make sure you keep your shows in line with that. So that's personalization. You probably have plenty of data to help you with that. But what really makes it work on top of that personalization is the fact that you give a damn, and I really think this is an important thing. Like if we look at, there is no AI in the world that is going to convince me that they really care. And it's never going to convince me that they really appreciate. I don't care how nice the words sound on paper, but when it comes right down to it, if AI scripted a closing for me to thank you, and I just read that closing,
Right.
you would not feel like I appreciate you.
That's
And
absolutely right.
square up, buddy, I appreciate you. And the only way you're going to feel that is if I give myself to that with you. So I'm both in the personalization side of the equation, using technology to help us streamline our messaging in ways that really resonate, but ultimately to give our humanity to one another. And it is through that humanity we don't feel alone. It's how we grow. It's how we're inspired. We've been doing it since cavemen and cavewomen. It is time to keep telling those stories on top of the technology.
Absolutely right. Got to ring the bell on that. And so me, I feel like, so a lot of people go, how do I get started? How do I get started? And I always send them right to Maya Angelou. She has a little clip, 3 minutes and 47 seconds, that begins with, just do right. She goes, if you're going to teach, then you must be willing to live your teachings. It's not about do what I say, just do right. When you're serving people and you want to help them to serve people better, because I am a firm believer, you all know this, I get up every day and I seek one E and one R. But you must know who you are to begin with. If you wake up, are you already great? Yes, you are. Find an E and an R and take it from great to greater. Take it from bold to bolder. Because when you do that, now you can wait for it to reverse and give you the other half of the circle to complete it, which is you will be revived, remembered, reframed, rewired. Whatever needs you have, they will show up so that you can wash, rinse, and repeat to do it again. And you don't have to start from scratch all the time. You build upon what you have. So let's go there. In the book, I want to ask you this. The author, when you interviewed him, do you feel, because I do, I was wondering, I wonder if this mindset and what he built with this app, how much did it help when they were saying, do you think during COVID, do you think we'll be able to pull off telehealth?
Yeah, they were way ahead on telehealth. Absolutely right. Inside of the app, they were already saying, okay, here, let's pretend Dr. Lauren has just flown down to Charlotte and he had a sore throat, and he doesn't have healthcare providers down in Charlotte. His healthcare providers up in Chicago. So he lands and he goes, well, is this sore throat something I should go to, urgent care? I mean, what other symptoms? So it just has a triage of questions, and unlike Dr. Google, where you can end up thinking you're dying, it's really well curated questions. And now it's saying, okay, you should probably go ahead and click this button right now based on the results of those questions, and we'll put you right on with a provider. Okay. And so they're going to put you right on a video chat. Just you push the button, because that's what it's triaged you to do.
Wow.
Once you hit that, guess what? That provider is in North Carolina, because you need a provider in North Carolina if you're going to get a prescription for something that's going to be sent to the CVS right next to your hotel where you're going to be staying for your venue. So all of that's kind of built into the architecture, right? That not only were they doing digital appointments, but they were triaging whether you needed that, or if you needed to go maybe to their provider, you needed to go to a brick and mortar provider in North Carolina, and you could go to their clinic there because they're distributed throughout the country, right? So yes, it all is designed in, and it really was helpful in COVID, and they accelerated much more quickly than many other providers could, who were just trying to come online with that technology.
So here's the question I've been waiting for, because I know for a fact from experience with you, a lot of people assume, well, if he's written all these 14, right?
Yeah, 14.
Okay, books on customer service, then is it just like a big loop? How is this different from all the others? What am I going to learn from this? But I know that you always go in because there is an ooey gooey chewy center of the Tootsie Pop that is not like all the others. The candy coated shell to get to it might seem similar, but when you fight through that and you get there.
Yeah, it's lusciously different. I mean, and I,
Lusciously
I'm not
different.
in one industry. So, I've been in hospitality with the Ritz-Carlton. I've been in retail with Starbucks. I've been in Airbnb, which may seem somewhat like hospitality, but it's a disenfranchised network of people just listing their properties on, on a platform. So I've been in a lot of different spaces. And what I find is there's a different emphasis. You can go into a lot of the same houses, they're same models of home, but the actual home experience is different once you walk inside of the same physical structure. That's pretty much what we see here, is a lot of different feels for the way they create these environments. And
it's like you get to listen to everybody's album collection.
Hey,
and when
man,
you look at somebody's music, you find out all the stuff. Their furniture might look the same.
Yeah,
but the whole room changes when you
everything's
put on that
different.
album you didn't expect, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
The book right now, All Business is Personal. What would you say was your most exciting component to share with us, the readers, from this one, as opposed to all the others that you've done? What would you say?
Well, there wasn't AI in a lot of my early books, let me tell you. So how do we live in a world where AI enables us to do greatness, but we also monitor it for its biases? We monitor it to make sure that it actually adds value to the human species, that it doesn't replace people. I'll just give you the quick on that. And there are a lot of websites right now where you're not going to find an 800 number or a way to contact any humans. You're only going to get a chat bot. So how do you balance these wonderful new technologies in ways that still create a human experience and allow you to build a personal relationship, which drives lifetime value 306% more than if you did not have a personal relationship with your customer? So that's the nugget, I think, of this book.
Beautiful. Perfect timing. And I get it, but there's still more to get. Let's put it there. And that's another thing, you guys. The promise is to seek and you will find. Not you might. Oh, it's possible. Not so much. You will. And so whatever you seek, you should seek beyond what you came here with, that you know to be true. These things I know to be true. Wally Lamb. Okay. I also would like to say this before we get out of here. Oftentimes in this world, people make a lot of promises. They say a lot of things. We owe it to ourselves and to each other to make sure that when we pass someone forward or some work forward, we have vetted, if only through our intuition, instinct, and the things we know within our spirit. I can just feel that this is true because it has a ring to it. Okay. And that's what you can find here. I'm so excited about this work. I encourage everyone to get over. LinkedIn is a place you can find Joseph, but here is his website up there, up top. You have both. I'm going to leave them both right there. And before we get out of here, I want to say this, because exactly what you were saying, I think what you're saying is this. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is the Jerry Springer moment in the right spot on the back end. Is this, when you're using your AI, or you're listening to AI, or you're dancing with AI, or whatever you're doing with AI, remember this: no matter how good it feels, sounds, or smells, AI does not and never will possess a soul. That responsibility is ours. So start with that. Lead with your value, and the rest will follow. That is my story, and I'm sticking to it. Okay. So, Joseph, the best place, how do you prefer? Can we get the book at the website?
You can just go to my website. It'll direct you to the book for sure.
Okay. Is it, can we hear it like on Audible?
Yeah. It's on Audible right now.
Okay. Because that's my form of reading.
Yeah, me too.
Me too. Okay, I'm going to grab it right now. I've got some credits on my Audible, so I'm going to go over and get it. Listen, I have never returned a Joseph Michelli book. Never. And you can do that easy on Audible. That's what I read it. I don't like it. Okay, I kind of liked it. I'll keep it. You don't have to worry about that. You're going to find value. Well, you already have. Who are we kidding, right? Anything on the horizon you want to kind of hint towards before we leave?
No, this was the bright spot of my year, so I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Lauren, for having me.
Oh, no, thank you. You're just incredible. I feel like I felt the very first moment I laid eyes on you on LinkedIn was how incredibly honored and blessed I am to have found you. And
there's
found
the law of reciprocity, brother. That's the law of reciprocity. We got that going back and forth.
I thank you for that, and I honor you. You guys, as always, we're going to do you a solid, and we're going to make it user-friendly by putting both of the links you saw just a moment ago on the screen inside of your literal comment section. So immediately when we sign off here in just a second, you'll be able to click and go over. Don't hesitate. Don't wait. Don't let this opportunity fall in a junk drawer of your life or between the cushions. Be a great steward. To those who much is given, much is required, and it means moments like these. Now, I just want to say again, thank you so much. I can't wait till you're back here. Hang out 1 second. I got an idea, and I'll be right there. Got an idea for us, and I want to say to you guys, come back tomorrow, won't you please? Who's the guest tomorrow? Ooh, Kevin Parker will be here. He's a veteran with a story unlike most that you have heard from veterans. Just might be surprised, right? So get out, find that E and that R that I mentioned earlier, and see what happens. Now, I promise, God willing, to meet you on the front porch tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Central for another illuminated conversation. And in the meantime, do not, under any circumstances, don't you dare let Dr. Lauren's door slam on the way out of here. Keep it cracked a little so you can get back in with ease. And get out there, be the best version of yourself, and remember that I love you. And there ain't a damn thing you can do about it. See you tomorrow. Have the best day ever. Thank you, Joseph. Thank you so much. Bye, you guys. See you soon.
Show me your soul. Baby, I'll show you mine. Show me your soul. Honey, it's way past time.